Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us today for the Johns Hopkins School of Education STEM and Mathematics Instructional Leader Pre-K through 6 virtual webinar. My name is Sion John. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions at the Johns Hopkins School of Education. And also presenting today, we have my colleague from the Office of Admissions, Tyreen Maddox, Professor and Faculty Lead, Dr. Stephen Pape, and current student, Ann Akar. And before we get started, I would like to cover a few housekeeping topics. First, today's webinar is being recorded. We will be able to share a link with you after the event is complete. And second, please have your mic on mute during the presentation. There will be a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. Please type your question in the chat box and we will be sure to answer your questions. At this time, my colleague from the Office of Admissions, Tyreen, will take it from here. Thank you, Tyreen.
Thank you for the intro, Sion. Good afternoon, everyone. First, I would like to share the agenda for today's virtual webinar. We will kick off the presentation sharing an overview of the Johns Hopkins School of Education. Then Dr. Pape will introduce himself and go over the program details of the STEM and Mathematics Instructional Leader Pre-K through 6 graduate certificates. We also have a current student joining us today to share her experience at SOE. Lastly, we will go over admissions requirements and leave the floor open for questions at the very end. To start, just some quick facts about JHU SOE. We are one of 9 schools at the Johns Hopkins University. We began offering college courses for teachers in 1909 and then became our own school in 2007. We are proud to share that the Johns Hopkins School of Education is consistently ranked one of the top schools in education by the U.S. News and World Report. For student enrollment, we have a total of 2,437 enrolled students, and we offer more than 30 graduate programs, which includes doctoral, master's, and graduate certificate programs. Lastly, we have over 22,000 SOE alums. Our faculty presenter today, Dr. Stephen Pape, is the faculty lead for the Mathematics and STEM Instructional Leader Pre-K through 6 program. His research focuses on technology-enhanced classroom contexts that foster mathematical understanding and the development of strategic behaviors at the middle school level and virtual professional development that supports mathematics teachers' knowledge for teaching mathematics. And Dr. Pape, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Tyreen, for that introduction.
You're welcome.
Welcome to our webinar. And so we'll talk a little bit about the nuts and bolts of the program and really talk about who can benefit from this program. So this program is really created for practicing pre-K through grade 6 educators. You need to have a minimum of 18 months teaching to be admitted to the program. Typically, folks are coming to this program to become STEM leaders. So they might want to become a coach within their school or district. They might just want to augment their math or STEM instructional strategies to serve their children more deeply. More powerfully. They might be curriculum developers in a district or instructional leaders within a school or district. So more and more we see that districts are placing STEM educators in the elementary schools to support other teachers to create powerful learning environments for their students. And so this is the goal of this program is to augment both the mathematics and science content knowledge as well as pedagogy. And we'll talk about the courses in a few moments. So who is the math coach? So coaches are mentor teachers who support the development of teaching across their school. And so they are working with teachers. They are coming to understand teachers' triumphs as well as their struggles in terms of teaching their students. And they're engaging in relationship building to support these their colleagues to be able to teach more effectively in the pre-K through grade 6 level. There's many standards in terms of teacher leadership. And so our program really focuses a lot on diverse learners and learning differences. There's a deep content knowledge within the program to support teachers to implement powerful instruction for their students. The teachers who come to us also learn a variety of instructional strategies to encourage learners to develop deep understanding of content, to engage learners, and to model effective skills such as listening, presenting ideas, and leading discussion. So let's just do a little overview of the program. There's 18 credits, 6 courses. Typically, you take 2 courses per semester. So most of the time, folks start either summer or fall is the best time to start. And you take 2 courses. If you are a Maryland teacher, this can lead to an endorsement for the instructional leadership in the K-12 pre-K through pre-K through grade 6 grade levels. So the course delivery is all mostly asynchronous, although we do have some synchronous meetings, which have become important to the learning within the courses. But for the large part, it's asynchronous and online. Oftentimes, there are small interactive group and whole group participation around projects that we share, and Annie's going to speak a little bit about those, I believe, later on in the presentation. And we really focus on active project-based learning that supports you to not only learn the content, but also to learn ways in which you want to enact project-based learning within your classroom. So one student wrote about the program that it gave her a hands-on training in how to effectively implement STEM learning in her classroom. Our classes are very small, and the combination of the synchronous and asynchronous often allows students to get to know one another. And she said, I feel as though I've gained a community of colleagues that will be available to me as I continue my career. And that's an important part of our program. So we really do try to create, even within the online space, a community of learners. The program's typically small, only about 6 to 8 students a year. And so it really does allow for both developing collegial relationships, but also individualized instruction. So oftentimes you are asked to do things, and Annie's going to give you an example of that, where she blew up her parents' microwave. But so the courses are very much hands-on. Each course, each session starts with very clear objectives of what the students are to learn, and then those are developed across the session. We use a lot of different methodologies to teach the content, but these methodologies, such as simulations in the virtual space, also enable and support teachers to understand how they might engage their learners within the online space, as we've all been doing for the last year. There's often videos that are, and these are just excerpts from the courses. So there's a lot of activities, and hopefully you can use some of them in the course, such as this roller coaster physics project, which students do in the physical science course. There's videos, and then after the video, students were asked to create a small roller coaster, which I've seen videos of, and it's really quite a nice experience. So there's 3 core courses that STEM and mathematics students take together. Those are the Foundations of Mathematics, Advanced Topics and Methods, and the Professional Development and Instructional Leadership course. There are 2 content courses, either science or mathematics beyond that, and then a final course, which is a practicum for all students are required to take the practicum now. I've mentioned these courses. These are the core courses that all students take. Go ahead. So in the Math Foundations course, this is really the initial course in terms of content knowledge. And this course covers content from the pre-K through about grade 2. And so we look at patterns, number and operation, a lot of work in number and operation, some work in measurement, statistics, and probability. This is the kind of course where we foreground the content and we background the pedagogy. So all of our courses deal with both content and pedagogy, but in this case, the content is foregrounded. So you're actually learning the mathematics, very fundamental mathematics that is important to your understanding and teaching at these grade levels, but then also looking at the pedagogy and how we might teach them. And here's a message from one of our course developers, and Dr. Donaldson teaches 2 of the courses in the course, the Advanced Methods course, and the second course is the Instructional Leadership and Professional Development course.
Hello, my name is Dr. Sarah Donaldson. I'm excited to have the opportunity to introduce you to 2 of the program courses, Advanced Methods in the Elementary STEM Classroom and Instructional STEM Leadership and Professional Development in Elementary School Settings. When developing these 2 courses, I combined my background as a classroom teacher, curriculum developer, instructional coach, and professional development coordinator in both elementary and middle schools with my current work as an adjunct faculty member at both Johns Hopkins University and Roger Williams University in Rhode Island to design courses aimed at promoting active, collaborative learning around both current research and practical applications to the professional context of course participants. The development of these 2 STEM-focused courses supports my ongoing professional learning and research around facilitating authentic student engagement in online learning contexts and promoting educators' ability to engage in critical colleagueship and promote equitable access to high-quality, meaningful STEM, mathematics, and science learning opportunities for diverse students. The Advanced Methods in the Elementary STEM Classroom course will deepen your knowledge of and efficacy with problem-based, student-centered instructional approaches to promoting student learning. Using a mirror, window, and door metaphor as a base, course assignments, discussions, and activities will center on creating opportunities to engage in critical thinking, reasoning, and sense-making around personally meaningful problems by recognizing and drawing upon individual and community assets and resources. Coursework will culminate in the development of a unit plan that will promote equitable access by helping diverse students in your professional context see themselves reflected in STEM contexts, recognize STEM-related issues and problems around them, and take an active role in creating positive change in their world. The Instructional STEM Leadership and Professional Development in Elementary School Settings course will further develop your ability to promote mathematics and STEM equity by increasing your knowledge of effective STEM professional development and curriculum development. Work in this course will center on using case studies to promote individual and contextual reflection. to help you apply emerging knowledge of theoretical and historical perspectives of professional development and their relationship to effective STEM teaching and learning. Your final course project will provide an opportunity for you to act as an instructional leader as you create an action plan proposal aimed at advocating for equitable access to STEM learning experiences within your context for diverse students and their teachers. Throughout both courses, various technologies will be used to promote interaction and deepen knowledge development through collaborative discourse, creative problem solving, and active meaning making. I hope to have the opportunity to engage in learning with you through these courses in the near future as part of the Hopkins learning community.
So Dr. Donaldson is speaking about this course and the professional development course that she has developed. And each of these courses really engage students in technology-enhanced, problem-based, and student-centered instructional strategies. And you really learn in these courses how to create integrated, inclusive, and equitable STEM environments. STEM is really an important area within elementary schools, especially since sometimes the science can take a little bit of a backseat to other areas. And so I think in this course, you learn how to integrate literature and reading instruction within the STEM education, as well as integrating the science, technology, engineering, and mathematics domains. So you learn how to teach through an engineering perspective, for example. And then in the instructional STEM leadership and professional development course, we really begin the idea of how to become an instructional leader. What does it really take to explore data and to use that data in terms of improving the instruction within your schools? And considering yourself, and this is taken up in a second course again, thinking about how one transitions from the teacher role to an instructional leader or a coaching role within your school. Then there are two other content courses that all students take. Well, excuse me, the STEM students take the science courses, which are either a physical science and an earth science or life science course. This summer, we're offering the physical science and the life science courses. So these, again, similar to the Foundations of Mathematics course, these courses foreground content and background the pedagogy, but you're always learning both of them within these courses. And the mathematics specialization course includes an algebra course and then advanced topics. So the Foundations of Mathematics course is the early elementary grades, and then the advanced topics focuses a lot on equity and diversity issues in mathematics education, but also the content is related to the upper grades. And then finally, all students take a practicum. And this practicum is really a supervised experience in which you independently work. There's two main projects within the course. One is a student impact. So you develop and you examine instruction to support students to engage in a mathematics or a STEM content area. And the second is to lead a group of teachers in some kind of collaborative problem, professional learning opportunity in which you serve as an instructional leader and you consider the ways in which you can support your colleagues to, one project that's been done is looking at assessment and looking at how assessment can inform instruction a little bit more deeply, which was a problem at the school in which this student was teaching. And maybe Annie can talk about her projects, which she's engaged in right now. So here's another quote by another former student. And I think it's really important, and I believe Annie is going to speak about this again, that our courses, we want them to be practical and we want them to be useful, while you are also learning some of the skills at the master's level, such as examining research. Another focus is really on, as I've mentioned a few times, equity and diversity. And so now I'm going to give it to Annie to talk a little bit about her experience. And so Annie has been in the program for the last year, and she agreed to speak to you all. Thank you, Annie.
Thank you, Dr. Pape. Hi, everyone. My name is Annie Apgar. I am currently a second grade teacher in Montgomery County, Maryland. If you're not familiar, my county borders DC. So I chose to take this program because I've always had a passion for STEM education. In undergrad, I had a concentration in science education. I just think students are always super engaged in science and math courses, and I am too. I always get really excited to teach them. So I figured that this was the route for me. Like Dr. Pape had mentioned before, I was in I basically went from doing a lot of scholarly articles and writing a lot of research papers to literally blowing my microwave up this summer. One of our projects was to microwave grapes. And if you don't know, if you cut a grape in half and you put the two halves really close together, it will create plasma and your microwave will blow up. I do not recommend trying it at home until you take the class, because I think if I had done it one more time, either the microwave would have blown up, or my mom would have kicked me out, because she was like, "You're done. We're not doing this anymore," because it was really cool. I thought it was awesome. My mom wasn't crazy about it. So I loved jumping into something so engaging. I built a roller coaster on my driveway. If there's time at the end, I can show you guys videos. And another thing that I'm taking away from this program is the sense of community, even from afar, even being online. It's a very small knit community. So we keep in touch. I keep in touch with all of my classmates. We, exchange emails, text conversations, all things like that. And also with my professors. I know that, if I have a question, I can send an email to any professor, meet at office hours, set up a time to meet on Zoom, no matter the day. Like, it's always, it still feels like a community. And personally, in undergrad, I was somebody who was not great with online classes in undergrad. So I was very nervous and hesitant coming into grad school being online, because that's just, growing up, that wasn't like the learning style for me. And I'm so glad I chose what I did, because it's been so beneficial. It's been perfect for my schedule of being a full-time teacher and then being able to come home and do my work, but also feel like I'm still part of something. I'm not an island in this program. I feel like I'm still part of a community and still working with my professors, working with my classmates, and taking so much away from the courses and bringing them back into my classroom. I actually literally have a document on my computer called Cool Things that I've learned from STEM. So I have like all these links and websites that I have started using with my kids, because there is so much that I've learned in this program that I really am taking back to my classroom. And I think that's the most important part. I learned something on Tuesday night in a meeting, and then I use it and share it with my colleagues on Wednesday morning. It really is so, like, I'm just taking so much, and it's all coming together. I'm currently working on my student impact and teacher impact projects. So with my students, we're working on ordering numbers and doing greater than, less than. And I was talking with Dr. Pape last week, and I was like, oh my gosh, I created this activity for them to do, and it was just totally not what I had wanted them to do. And I confused them, and I think I made it worse. And it was just such a learning experience that I would have never had if I hadn't taken this course. And you know, it was just one of those moments where I'm like, you know what, Annie, just you need to take like, you know, you're learning from this. And, you know, like Dr. Pape said, I had a lot of discussion to add to my student impact project because of that. And I just think it's, you know, I really am taking this and using it in my career. So I think overall, it's definitely something that has made me a better teacher. This program has made me a stronger teacher. It's very collaborative. It's also great for networking. Dr. Pape and I have been in contact. I'm looking to move out of state, and he's been helping me. He put me in touch with somebody down there who was also an alumni of the program, and she's fabulous, and she's given me so much guidance moving into a different county. So, you know, once again, this graduate program has impacted me in a positive way in my career. So it's just the fact that it's all coming together and making me a stronger teacher and, you know, a better person all around, I think is exactly what I came into this program looking for. And I got out what I had wanted to, and I definitely would not change it for the world. So it's been a great experience. I'm not quite done, but I have loved every minute of it, and it's been very rewarding. So I appreciate you guys giving me the chance to talk. And if you guys have any questions, Dr. Pape, feel free to just send them my email. I'm happy to like give anybody advice or suggestions or whatever, because I know that that's always helpful for me. So I'm happy to help others as well.
Thank you, Annie. And I think you're right. I think when you join the Hopkins community, you join a very large alumni community that has your back. and so I'm glad that that's worked out. And now I'll turn the rest of the presentation over to Tyreen.
Dr. Pape, it looks like there's one more slide for you.
Okay, a little bit out of order, sorry. This, you know, upon completion of the 6 courses, you actually receive a graduate certificate from the program. In addition, if you are interested in pursuing the master's, you are able to pursue the MS Ed through combining this certificate with another certificate, such as Mind, Brain, and Teaching, urban leadership, gifted and talented leadership, or administration. So there's a lot of other programs, the graduate certificates, that you can combine within the interdisciplinary master's program that you can look up on the web. Students who are in Maryland are able to apply for the state endorsement, as we spoke about before, and that's an endorsement on a license, but only for Maryland teachers or Maryland certified teachers. And there are scholarship opportunities available, and here's the link.
All right, thank you, Annie and Dr. Pape, for the wonderful presentation. So now we're going to continue by going over the application requirements. Applicants must submit a completed application, which can be found on our website, and there is an $80 application fee. Next, we need all official transcripts, including institutions you may have taken courses but did not receive a degree. A 500-word essay must be uploaded to your application, an updated resume or CV, and 2 letters of recommendation, preferably one from a teaching supervisor and another one from your bachelor's or graduate program professor. And lastly, the GRE is not a requirement for this program. And in addition, please keep in mind for standard admission requirement, you would need a completion of a bachelor's degree in education or closely related field from a regionally or nationally accredited institution. Also, it is required to have professional experience teaching mathematics or science in elementary, middle, or secondary schools. And lastly, and if you're interested in applying for the Maryland State Mathematics or STEM Instructional Leader endorsement, you must have a minimum of 2 years of teaching experience and currently employed as a teacher or other educational professional working in a pre-K through 6 school or educational setting. There are a few additional steps you need to take in order to complete the application process if you're an international student. You must submit a TOEFL or IELTS score, and if your degree was completed outside of the US, you will need to complete a course-by-course evaluation. Additional information can be found on our website. The tuition for the next academic school year is $926 per credit for online classes and a $20 per credit technology fee. And please note that additional fees apply and are charged separately from tuition. For additional information on tuition and fees, please visit our school's website. If you're interested in applying for financial aid, we strongly encourage you to apply for financial aid when you start your application. Please visit our website with any questions relating to financial aid. You'll be able to find contact information for the Office of Financial Aid and details of loans and scholarships that are available. Thank you for attending the STEM and Mathematics Instructional Leader Pre-K through 6 virtual webinar. At this time, we would like to open up the floor for questions. And Dr. Pape, I received a question privately, and also Annie, I think you could also answer this one as well. I plan on working full-time and going to school part-time. How many hours should I expect to allocate per week on schoolwork?
I'm going to let Annie start that one.
It just kind of depends on the week. I've been virtual this last year, so I have felt like I am, I'd say probably, 4 to 5 days a week. I do a lot of my work on the weekends as well. I would say 4 to 5 days a week. I would expect between like an hour to 2 hours of work. It just depends. So if I have maybe a project due in both of my classes, I really have a lot of work to do. And I really have to manage my time. But then there are some weeks that are a little bit lighter, and, I read at night for a couple of nights, and then I type up a discussion board one night, and I type up a discussion board another night. So honestly, when it says it's a 3 credit course, it's definitely 3 hours a week minimum. I'd say, I don't know, I guess 2 hours a night was a long shot. I'd say 3 to 4 hours a week, maybe 5 or 6 if you have a lot of projects. Like if you have a really heavy week, you're going to be putting in more time. But I think too, knowing I try to map out what I'm going to do every week, like what I'm going to get done every night of the week. And then I do dedicate some time, an hour or so on Saturday, an hour or so on Sunday to kind of tie up loose ends and get things done as needed. So it's definitely, it's a sacrifice. It's something that it definitely takes your time, but it's not, it's never, I never felt like it's been too much. It's definitely, there have been stressful times for sure. And this past year has been tricky being online, and, going through everything with COVID has been definitely different. But overall, it's never been to a point where I feel like I can't manage it. And honestly, when things are tough, I send an email to my professors and I'm like, hey, I need help. And we meet, and I end up feeling better about it in the end. So I don't know. I hope that answers your question. It was a really long answer.
Thank you, Annie. Dr. Pape, we have another question that was asked privately. I am interested in being an instructional leader / coach in mathematics. However, I don't live in Maryland. Does this program lead to certification for students out of Maryland?
That answer would be, it depends. So you would have to check with your state to see if this program meets their requirement for an elementary STEM or mathematics leader.
Yes, Dr. Pate, I received a question privately as well. The question states, is this program project-based, sort of a project-based approach that involves kids in active engagement and hands-on investigation? Are there things that I can take from this program that can apply to any age from K through 6?
Yeah, so the answer is yes and yes. A lot of the work that is done is either as an individual project or together with other people in the class. And so oftentimes the class sessions are set up so that you begin with some kind of doing of mathematics or science, and then we back into the pedagogy from there. The work in each of the classes, especially the content classes, is directly applicable to the pre-K through grade 6 classroom. The text that we use across the courses in mathematics really is one that teachers use all the time within their practice, even beyond the program.
Thank you, Dr. Pave. The next question we have is, are any of the courses going to be synchronous?
So each of the courses has some degree of synchronous learning. The one that is most synchronous is the practicum, because that's a lot of talking with me as the instructor in terms of the projects that you're doing for the teacher impact and the student impact projects, as well as putting together a portfolio in that course of the materials that you have engaged, you have created over your program. Other courses can have less amount of synchronous, so I would say maybe once a month or maximum twice a month, there might be a synchronous meeting. These synchronous meetings are not required. They are optional, and they are recorded if you are not able to attend.
Okay, so the next question is, can this graduate certificate be combined to earn a master's degree?
Yes, as I spoke about earlier, this is a really unique opportunity at Hopkins where you can think about becoming an urban math or STEM instructional leader by combining the urban education and the STEM or mathematics certificate. Alternatively, you could take the gifted and talented certificate and combine it to become a math or STEM gifted and talented instructional leader. So there's many options. If you look at the graduate certificates, any of those can be combined in our MS Ed program at this point. And Annie, I believe you did that, right? You did the mind, brain, and teaching. And
I did, yes. Yep.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying I did mind brain teaching for the first half and then STEM the second half. And I've really loved the STEM program. It's been awesome.
Okay, next question, Dr. Pape. Do I need to have 2 years of teaching experience prior to applying for this program?
So in order to become endorsed as an instructional leader in Maryland, you must have 18 months of teaching when you apply for the endorsement. So we have held that as an admissions requirement. So we really want folks who have been teaching for at least a year and a half to ensure that this is going to be a powerful experience for you. It's important that you have some background in teaching in order for what we do in the courses to really make sense. In order for you to consider being an instructional leader, you need to have that experience.
Thank you, Dr. Pape. The next question, can you enroll and complete the grad cert while earning the 18 months for the endorsement?
I will have to look at what you have in terms of some experience, but we really do want you to have some experience as a teacher before you begin the program. We have admitted, I believe, one student who was just embarking on her teaching career, and she wanted this to be able to not become an instructional leader, but just to learn how to teach mathematics for her more powerfully. And so I just needed to make sure she understood that she was not going to be able to get the endorsement, but that was not her intention. So I guess the answer is yes, you could start it.
All right, it looks like there are no more questions. And on this slide, on the next slide, here are some important contact information. Any admissions related questions, please reach out to Tyrene. Here is her email address and phone number. Any program related question, Lisa McNeil, Senior Academic Program Coordinator, and here is her email address. Thank you for your interest in the Johns Hopkins School of Education. Thank you again, Dr. Pape and Annie, for being here and for the wonderful presentation that was provided today. Have a wonderful evening, everyone.